Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Shelley claims her husband is a self-obsessed, womanizing playboy.
It's a he said,
Shelley plays the victim in our marriage.
You're supposed to be in the other side of the house.
she said.
David calls me fat, lazy, psycho, nuts.
She is a liar. She's unemployed. She's lazy.
You're lying about everything that you're doing to me.
Can this marriage be saved?
Somebody is not telling the truth here. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Thank you. Thank you. Well, now, Shelley claims her husband, David, is a self-obsessed, womanizing playboy who has not only cheated on her, but also abused her. Take a quick look.
You were drunk when the cops came here.
No, I was not.
They told me you were.
No,
you
they
sat
didn't.
on the front porch like an idiot wearing a whore dress.
You're
How can you do
gaslighting
all this?
about everything that you're doing to me.
I'll talk to your camera.
That is
She
insane.
is a liar. She's a drug addict. She's unemployed. She's lazy. She sleeps at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She stays awake until 5 o'clock in the morning.
You are abusive.
That's the truth.
What is a whore dress? Shelley says what you've just seen isn't even half of it. She claims David has spat in her face, bit her on the foot, and hit her so hard that she fell to her knees. But David says, no, no, no. He says, this is a drama queen. He says, other than one time shoving Shelley onto the bed, that he has never even put his hands on her. Shelley says she did leave him at one point, but decided to give him another chance, when David's apology included a new BMW. Now, David says the marriage to his high-maintenance and overdramatic wife is hell on wheels, and if things don't change, the marriage will end. Take a look.
My marriage to David is dead. I feel like I'm living with a playboy liar without compassion or empathy.
I'm in here where I'm supposed to be, and you're supposed to be in the other side of the house.
Be here. My marriage to Shelley is like a ticking time bomb right now. It is going and it's about to blow up. You moved out. You've been gone all week. And
I went to my mother's because you were out of your mind.
Shelley, I think, thrives on attention. She loves drama. Shelley is relentless. Once we start arguing, she's going to win no matter what.
Do I need to call the police again? You need to stop.
I started recording some arguments with David because I felt like I needed proof of the abuse that was going on. I had a migraine and I have fibromyalgia.
Get in the bed, pull the covers over your head. Punk ass.
Shelley plays the victim in our marriage every day and every night.
David portrays to the world that he is this perfect stand-up guy.
Don't pay for
You need to,
anything.
I pay forever a lot of
Stealing
things.
my money.
I am not stealing
You're
anything
stealing
from you.
my money.
You are in a narcissistic rage now. You need
No.
to get away from me.
You're not gonna rob me.
David is very verbally abusive to me. David calls me everything from a bitch, the word, fat, lazy, psycho, nuts.
You need to get out of the bedroom.
Oh, you gonna shake your voice a little bit?
I get the narcissist, bipolar, bastard, son of a bitch. I get the worst names.
David has also been physically abusive to me.
Other than shoving her down in the bed, I've not laid my hands on her.
One time, David came home around 2 a.m., really inebriated. I was so mad at David that I threw his food across the room. He hit me like this across the face, and it bruised my whole left side of my face. It knocked me down, and as soon as I was back up onto my knees, he hit me again. I'll tell you what's going on. Your infidelity is what has gone on.
Infidelity when?
You had a year-long affair with a married woman.
I ran around with another lady behind Shelley's back. It was an emotional affair. It was not sexual at all. Shelley lives on an emotional roller coaster. I never know what personality I'm gonna get when I walk into my house.
There are days that I wonder why I married David.
Each time that we fight, divorce is brought up. I'm about 99% sure that if things don't change, my marriage is done.
Well, I'm here just with you right now because David apparently didn't like something in the beginning of the show.
Okay.
I guess he didn't like me saying that he didn't hit you, that he only shoved you on the bed one time. So I guess he didn't like me defending him. I don't know. How do you feel about the fact that he bailed on you here now?
He bailed on me here.
Yeah, he bailed on you. He's not here.
He's not going to show.
I assume not. He's not here.
That does not surprise me. David is a narcissist.
How did you meet him?
I met him one night while I was out with my sister. I had not been out in a really long time, met him out. And we started talking, and it was just kismet. It was just like we really were just drawn to each other.
Okay, and were you married at the time?
I was married at the time.
Okay, and was he married at the time?
No, he had a girlfriend he had been dating for just a few short months.
And you've been married how many times?
4 times. He would be my 4th time.
This is your 4th time. And this is his 2nd time?
Second real marriage, I mean, I guess, but he was actually married on paper 3 times.
This being the 3rd?
Yes.
This being the 3rd?
Yes, I would be his 3rd.
So twice before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, on paper?
Yes.
Meaning that he never actually went home with her?
No. He lived with her. I believe they lived together for a year. No, I didn't know him then, and I don't know much about that relationship. I've only talked to him briefly about it. Just that it was a very short relationship. They were friends. They ended up getting married, and after a year, they both decided that that was done. And they both went their separate ways. Is what I understand.
So they got married and divorced?
Correct.
Okay. On paper and in truth?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you seem to distinguish some difference there, but you're talking about the length of time.
Yeah, I mean, he's been married. I would be his 3rd.
Okay. And you say he's cheated on you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does he admit that?
Yes. But he will say, I got too close to a friend, and that it was never sexual.
Emotional?
Yes,
an
emotional affair.
And have you cheated on him?
No.
Does he think you have?
I don't believe he thinks I have, no.
Well, he says you're out on the porch in a whore dress.
I went to the Derby Day in a really pretty dress. I mean, it was a really beautiful dress. I thought it had lace on it. It was really pretty. And I went with a girlfriend. And that was the first time I had gone anywhere without David in 2 years. And I didn't tell him I was going. We were fighting at the time, and put on a dress and a hat for Derby Day and went over, and I was home by 10 o'clock, and he was extremely, extremely angry. He had put all of my clothes out on my BMW and was going to pull it out of the garage with a lot of my clothes on it. And that's the footage that you saw in the beginning.
Right. You said that he's called you fat and bitch and the word and other things, calls you lazy, says you're nothing, and that you've created some fake illness. He calls fibromyalgia a fake illness.
Yeah, fibromyalgia is not a fake illness. Anyone with it would know. And I've had it. I have diagnoses with it. He's been to the doctors with me. He has seen me on my deathbed going to the hospital. So he knows it's real. I think he doesn't want to admit that it's real.
Well, he says that he is 1,000% committed to making this marriage work.
That is what he says since we got married. But
That's what he told us. He said he's 1,000% committed to making this marriage work.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he has said since we got married. You know, that everything changed when we got married, that he made a decision, but I'm starting to see him cycle back into his old ways. The love bombing has stopped, and he's starting to cycle back into the neglect and the I don't want anything to do with you, and the rage. And if you ask him a simple question or try to talk to him about anything, then he is, you know, we are not going to talk about this now, and we're going to talk about this.
And he says that you are 10,000%. He's 1,000% committed to the marriage, but you are 10,000% committed to drama.
No.
That you're a drama queen.
I'm actually a very private person, and I've written to you twice.
Right.
Because this has destroyed my life, and I love David, and that is my issue. I feel like there is something wrong so mentally with David that he can't fix it.
Well, we need to talk about you, since you're here.
Right.
David denies being physically and verbally abusive towards his wife, Shelley. He says this is not true. And look, there's only one version of the truth here. There aren't versions. Somebody is not telling the truth here. I don't know whether he'll be here to tell his side or not. It really doesn't matter to me. I work with who's here.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do right after the break.
There's no intimacy between David and I.
Shelley, I tell you, I love you 50 times a day, at least.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me say something
Actions
here.
speak way louder
Let
than
me say
words.
something here. You gripe at me, and you put me in my place constantly. Do you think that attracts me? Do you think it turns me on?
I don't think anything about me turns you on anymore.
Now, Shelley and David have been married less than a year, and their relationship is already on the rocks. Now, David is here. Well, he's here in the building, but when it came time to start, he declined to participate because he heard something, I don't know what, that he didn't like. He said the video was old and that it didn't represent the current state of affairs. But he has asked you, or he has said that he wanted a divorce 3 times in the last week, correct?
Yes, he has.
Okay, so it is current that there are problems.
Yes.
I actually made a timeline because I think there's a real pattern here. You talk about this cycle, and I want to look at it. Now, you've known each other a while.
5 years.
But you've only been married a year.
A year, yes, sir.
Uh-huh. You had quite a bit of information about each other before you got married,
We did.
right?
We did.
I find that interesting. So let's go back to January of 15. In January of 15, you found naked pictures on David's phone and found out that he was talking to a married woman.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Now, I don't know if that's true, but I know that you say that's true, which means you believe that's true.
Correct.
You could be hallucinating for all I know, but I know that's what you believe. So I'm going to treat this as fact because it's fact to you.
Okay.
Now, if David were here, he might say, I didn't even own a phone. I don't know. But to you, this is true. So I'm curious as to what you did about it. So you found naked pictures on his phone, and you found him talking to a married woman. So your reaction was you felt sick and disgusted. You confronted him. And then you took the pictures and posted them on social media to shame him.
I did. And I did. Guilty. And then I kicked him out of my apartment.
Now, jump ahead 3 months, and you find that a married woman claims that she's having a sexual affair with David.
Yes, it was the same woman that I found the pictures.
Yeah, this is this woman over here. Okay, so let's see what you did here. Well, you confronted him. He denied it. Called the woman on the speakerphone, and he just walked off. You get her on the phone, so the two of you are standing there and say, well, let's just call her. He walks off. You're emotionally devastated, and so, again, you kick him to the curb.
Yep.
Okay? But 30 days later, he begs to come back with a BMW under his arm.
Correct.
And you say, come on down.
It wasn't quite like
You
that.
take him back, and you said, quote, I fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
I did. I did.
Uh-huh.
I did.
So he's gone not 30 days, and he makes amends and comes back.
He knew I needed a car very badly. I was going through a divorce, and I was trying to get my vehicles back that I actually owned, and I was using my father's car, and he knew that I needed a car.
The point is, given the information you had,
I understand.
you went right back into it, and you talk about this cycle he goes through. I'm wondering if you're recognizing the cycle.
I am. I have. And that's why I'm here. Because Because I don't just want help for David. I want to know why I'm allowing this and why I'm putting up with this.
Yeah. You say he's drinking heavily, coming home late at night. You move out to get away, but you move back 2 weeks later, and you got engaged.
That was actually 2017, but that's basically what happened.
Okay. October 16, he starts talking to a married woman again. You confront him, you say he spits in your face, pushes her, moved into a hotel for 2 nights, got a restraining order, but yet you dropped it a week later.
I did.
December 17, you marry him. Right? And now, here, you marry him, and you believe things would be good. You thought, you got married. What is it that caused you to believe that this resume would now be fixed because you got some papers filled out?
We had gone through a pretty long time of everything being very stable and him showing that things had changed, and I started to believe him.
David claims that his wife lied to him about the show topic, saying we would be addressing her illnesses, which he claims is the crux of their problems. We'll talk about that in some form or fashion after the break.
Shelley is the queen of self-diagnosis. She thinks that she is an internet doctor. She researches all kinds of medical conditions and psychological conditions online. And when I wake up in the morning, my TV is on Dr. Phil at 5:55 a.m.
David has the personality of Jekyll and Hyde. David has demonstrated bipolar disorder and narcissistic personality disorder with his lies, cheating, and bad behavior. David is very vain, and he thinks he can get out of trouble by just the way he looks and the way he talks.
Shelley is a very high-maintenance woman. Shelley loves really pretty and shiny things. She loves nice cars, nice clothes, nice jewelry, and it seems like I am always one step behind. Nothing's ever good enough for her.
David would say that I'm high maintenance, but I'm not that girl. People think when they see me out, she's spoiled, or she's rich, or she's wealthy. I don't spend a fortune on my clothes. Actually very frugal.
When I met Shelley, I knew she was high maintenance. I probably would not have been attracted to her if she was boring and lower maintenance. Nobody wants a basic bitch.
Well, David has threatened to divorce his high-maintenance, lazy wife 3 times just this week, according to Shelley, but she wants to save this marriage. You've been married not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times.
Correct.
Okay, now, every marriage is different, but 4 of them have failed or are failing. And the only one that's been there for all 4 is you.
Correct.
I wrote a book called Relationship Rescue. And one of the things I talk about in there is that you should never go to a second relationship until you have done a complete, thorough relationship autopsy on the one you were in, where you sat down and said, why did this fail, and what was my ownership in why it failed? What did I do to contribute to the failure of this relationship?
I did with my first marriage. I did not with my other 2.
So you weren't fully recovered from the last relationship before you got into this one.
Correct.
Okay. And you know, I kind of did a state of the marriage here as to where you are right now to take a look at, because according to you, the marriage is dead. According to David, it's rocky. According to you, it's losing passion and hope. According to David, he's 1,000% committed. According to you, explosive and volatile. Him, explosive, volatile. Divorce likely, divorce likely. Lack of intimacy, lack of intimacy. Financially dependent, breadwinner. Stays because of 4 cats, stays because he wants to work it out?
That's a little, I mean, I don't stay just because of 4 cats. I do have four babies. And I am financially dependent on him right now because I'm very ill. Very ill. Mm-hmm. More ill than I've ever been in my entire life, and I don't know how to deal with it.
Well, for anybody that wants to know, fibromyalgia is a very real syndrome, and it is certainly exacerbated by stress.
All of these things, yes, these are like the worst things that have happened in our life, but no one is seeing the wonderful, good things that have happened in our life. Mm-hmm. And we have a weird relationship where it's like we can be really best friends and we're really, really close. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know it, and it probably sounds crazy to people to hear, and when you're not in it, I don't know why my life would be without David. Mm-hmm. I don't. And that may sound sick to somebody, but that's where I am at right now.
Well,
and
one
I
of the
wouldn't
things
be here if I absolutely did not need help figuring this out.
Well, one of the things you said, and I quote, you said, "I am in love with him, although I'm not sure who it is I'm in love with."
He has a Jekyll and Hyde personality.
He loves me in his own way.
I think if he had some emotional help or some help, then he could be like the best person ever, because I've seen him be the best person ever.
Mm-hmm. Have you run across the buzzword undoing?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh. Undoing is where you'll say something about someone that describes the harsh reality, mm-hmm. and then start to systematically, piece by piece, start taking it back. I'm in a relationship that is not good for me mentally, emotionally, or disease-wise, but then I'm going to start justifying it because I really don't have any option. And so I'm going to start telling you, well, actually, he can be a nice guy. Well, that's true. I'm sure that he can be a nice guy. I saw on the tape he's a nice guy. And I have no doubt that he's a nice guy in many respects. I'm sure that he didn't marry you because you're a horrible woman. He married you because there are things about you that he likes. And you married him because there are things about him that you like. But the point is, you need to decide that you're going to have a standard and stand up for yourself and be your own best friend. I am going to get you some professional help with this because I do believe that you are very confused, and I do believe that this is interacting with a disease that, while he may not think it is a legitimate syndrome, I do. And I'm not throwing him under the bus. I don't even know the guy. What I do know is I help those that are in front of me. You're going to take the help, right?
Absolutely.
When we come back, we're going to meet Sandra, who was just 21 when she was kidnapped and held hostage after visiting her local mall.
I was in my vehicle when the kidnapper approached from behind with a gun and told me that if I tried to get away, he would kill me. I'm not happy with myself because I don't seem to be able to shake the feelings from my past.
I've been paying the price for sins that someone else has committed.
Closed captioning provided by On Monday, February 21st, 1983, Sandra kissed her husband, Kevin, goodbye and left to go to the local mall. But this fateful winter day, things did not go as planned. She was held at gunpoint and kidnapped.
I was kidnapped when I was 21. It changed my life forever. I was in my vehicle when the kidnapper approached from behind with a gun. He handcuffed me and told me that if I tried to get away, he would kill me. He took me to the bank to get money out of our account, but the bank was closed. It was a holiday. He was very angry, so he drove me 2 hours out of state. Eventually, he stopped at a motel. When he went into the lobby, I decided that was my time to try to escape. I ran to a service station. The owner of the gas station held the man at gunpoint until the police came. The kidnapper was sentenced to 30 years in prison. The most traumatizing thing during the kidnapping was I had no control. If I hadn't been able to get away, he would have killed me.
Sandra says that day changed her life and her marriage forever, not only because she believes she was lucky to escape alive, but because it stirred up memories of sexual abuse that haunt her until this very day.
My relationship with my husband, Kevin, is at an all-time low.
Sandra's past is bubbling up and robbing us of our future.
I was sexually abused by people that I knew and trusted between the ages of 5 and 8. At the time I was so young, I believed it was gameplay. As I got a little bit older, I got the feeling that we were doing something bad. I was ashamed.
Sandra's issues in her past have been repressed for quite some time. Right now, from one day to the next, I don't know what Sandra's emotional state is going to be.
I'm not happy with myself because I don't seem to be able to shake the feelings from my past.
The things that have happened to Sandra have certainly made her feel unlovable to me.
I started having flashbacks to the sexual abuse. It made it difficult to be intimate with my husband.
I've been paying the price for sins that someone else has committed.
My biggest fear is that if we don't get help, my husband Kevin will move out and move on.
Hi.
Hello.
It's just you and me, right?
Yes, it is.
Now, your husband is here, and he can see you very clearly. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want to ask you, are you prepared to change all of this?
Yes.
That's why you're here.
My marriage depends on it.
And if it doesn't change, what's going to happen?
I'm afraid Kevin will move out.
And this is above his pay grade. He's not equipped to deal with this. You were molested between 5 and 8.
Correct.
You had absolutely no responsibility for that whatsoever. Zip, zero, not in yet, zero, 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 zero. But you have 100% accountability for what you do with it now. When you were molested between 5 and 8, what did they do to you?
There was touching and modeling, sex play, that kind of thing.
There were times when you look back that it was fun and you enjoyed it.
Yes, because to start with, it was a game.
And when you look back and think, now as an adult, you know you were being molested and you enjoyed some of that. How dirty and guilty does that make you feel now?
Enough that my intimacy with my husband has been destroyed.
But you measure what you did at 6 with an adult yardstick and decide that that's perverse and dirty, and you label yourself in that way, and you carry that forward.
Definitely, I do. I'm stuck there.
Enough is enough, and too much is too much. Something in you has said, too much is too much. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of this, by God. I've had enough of punishing myself and being punished. True or false?
True. I can't take living like this. I've got to change it.
You were kidnapped. Someone came up behind you with a gun.
I believed he was going to kill me.
Closed captioning provided by You were kidnapped.
Yes.
Someone came up behind you with a gun.
Yes, they did.
Held a gun on you. Where'd they put the gun?
In my side.
And said what?
He said, "Move over, you bitch, or I'll kill you."
And you believed him.
Definitely, he had a gun in my side.
And then what happened?
After I moved over, he got in the car and told me to put my head down and my hands behind my back, and he handcuffed me. Put me in his car and wiped down my car so there wouldn't be any fingerprints. And then he drove me about 2 hours south to Memphis. When we got there, he stopped at a Holiday Inn, and when he went in to the lobby, he couldn't see me at that point. And so I was able to get one of my hands out of the handcuff, and that way I was loose. And I grabbed my purse because he had looked at my driver's license and commented that now he knew where I lived. So when I got loose, I grabbed my purse and ran around behind the building where the gas station was. And the owner of the gas station had a gun there, so he took it and went out to the parking lot and actually stopped him from leaving and at gunpoint and held him there till the police came.
Mm-hmm. And how did you feel when you were handcuffed and this man had control of you?
I couldn't believe it was really happening. I mean, you hear about things like that, you never think they'll happen to you. And I felt trapped, and I believed he was going to kill me.
How old were you?
I was 21.
Mm-hmm. What happened when you were 25?
I was sexually assaulted.
Why you?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I don't exude some sort of target.
Damaged goods. You can do these things to me. This is who I am.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, how do you explain it to yourself?
That I'm a bad person.
You've been sexually molested, kidnapped, and sexually assaulted. I mean, that's a triple. And then you punish yourself every day.
Yeah, I overeat to dampen the feelings.
What if I told you there's another reason you overeat?
I'd ask what it is.
When was the last time you were intimate with your husband?
About 6 years ago.
About 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. What if I told you that you are zipped up in a 50-pound parka that makes you less sexually relevant?
Less desirable.
You feel safer.
That's true.
Forgive yourself and move on. That's over. Not even God can change what has happened. You have to deal with now. Do you think you're worthy of sitting in this chair and having all this attention?
No.
That's the real issue, isn't it? Tell me why you're not worthy of being here in this moment, in this chair, with this undivided attention.
Because I didn't escape. Because I feel like I should have stopped it.
Mm-hmm. You know, my good friend Maya Angelou said it really well. She said, you did what you knew how to do, and when you know better, you do better. You didn't know what to do then. Know better now. This is now. Don't repeat the mistake now. This is your second chance, little girl. This is your second chance. You didn't know how to stand up for you then. Know how to stand up for you now. That 6-year-old girl is sitting in this chair. She didn't say, I want better then, I want out. Say it now. I want better now. I want out of this trap now. I'm saying it now. No shame. I'm saying it now. I want out.
I want out.
Say it.
I want out.
Are you willing to do what it takes to get out?
Yes.
Look me in the eye and make me believe it.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I have to get past this.
Come here. Come here. You get this as your second chance.
Yes.
Look him in the eye and tell him, I haven't been there, but I am going to be there. We're going to do this now. This is our chance, and I am going to be there for you and for me. Look him in the eye and tell him.
This is our second chance, and I'm going to be there for us.
Look him and tell him. Make him believe you.
I'm going to do whatever it takes to fix this. I'm sorry.
I think you could really good.